First, live, local. Good Day Oregon starts now on Fox 12 Oregon.
A strong winter storm blasted the northwest while you were sleeping, and now it is bringing rain into the region. People are waking up to a wet, soggy, and sloppy Wednesday morning.
Yeah, slushy road conditions are causing some school closures and delays, and we're not out of the woods quite yet. We have live team coverage of this winter storm and weather alerts starting now.
Good morning. Welcome to the 5 o'clock hour of Good Day Oregon. It's Wednesday, January 18th. I'm Kimberly Moss.
I'm Pete Ferryman. Let's get right to Andy now to see what's happening. As a matter of fact, before we do that, we'll get to the school closures and delays, and we'll start off with the Rainier schools, which are closed.
Yeah, the list is growing as we make our way through the morning. The Rainier School District is closed. Vernonia schools are closed. Lincoln City and the Green Mountain schools are closed. Oregon State University will be opening at 10 a.m. this morning.
Colton School District is closed. Castle Rock, Evergreen, La Center, Washougal School District, all closed.
Kelso, Skamania School District, Ridgefield, Camas, and Woodland. And we have one more page to tell you.
Yeah, Kalama, Battleground, and Longview schools are closed. And we always have that complete list at the bottom of your screen. It seems to me, Kim, like there's a trend there. North of the river, north of the Columbia River is where we're seeing a lot of the closures and delays.
We'll get to Andy now for a look at our forecast. Andy?
Well, actually, the forecast is calling for most of the snow within the metro area to melt as we see warmer temperatures and rain push in. Most of us looking at rain right now. Just to kind of look at some of the snowfall totals we've picked up. Up in Yakult, they got about a foot of snow, 4 inches in St. Helens. Longview got 3 inches. Portland at the airport got 2 inches of snow. Astoria also got a couple of inches of snow. They're still far enough north. They're getting some snow showers out there. And so we've had some pretty good amounts out there, but we're going to see a lot of this starting from the south and pushing its way up towards the north, slowly make a transition from the snow to the rain and melt that snow pretty quick, so it won't be sitting around for very long, especially at PDX. Now let's go to Tony for an update on the roads.
Yeah, I-5 in Vancouver actually has a wet road surface, quite a bit of snow on the side of the road. You can see that at 134th and I-5. It does get worse the farther north you go. Would not be a good morning for a trip to Seattle. That's a still shot of I-5 near Olympia, and just snow covered there. But on the freeways here in the Portland area, it actually looks pretty good. Roads are wet, quite a bit of snow on the side of the road, but not a lot built up on the travel lanes at all. So most of the freeways coming in is wet pavement. A lot of slush, though, getting to those freeways. So keep that in mind this morning. Also, some closures. Skyline shut down Cornell to Germantown, and Highway 43 closed Selwood Bridge to Palatine Hill, all because of trees that have fallen. Pete and Kim, back to you.
All right, Tony, thank you. We're going to head to the higher elevations now as we begin our team coverage. We have crews spread from west of Portland all the way to Hood River this morning. We want to begin with KPTV's Nicole Dahl. She is in the West Hills this morning, where it has been raining and turning that snow to slush.
It is very slushy. It's very messy. In fact, take a look. This is what we're dealing with here. A lot of slush here, the snow turning to slush. I spoke with a tow truck driver who's been up here stationed trying to help people out, and he said that's his biggest concern in terms of driving issues up here, that people are going to be unaware of the water underneath this slush, and that's where problems may arise. Also, another big question up here for folks waking up, will there be school here in the West Hills? That will be up to the Portland Public Schools superintendent to decide here in the next half hour or so, and then people will begin to get those calls. They have a protocol on how they decide to do this. They look at whether or not the buildings are safe to open and whether or not kids can safely get to school. Here's more from Matt Shelby with the school district. And Matt Shelby basically said that the way they decide about this is they come up, they look at the conditions. In fact, we saw a Portland Public Schools staff vehicle go by just about a half hour ago. They're looking to see whether or not they can meet those conditions, if it's safe to open the buildings, and also if kids can get here via the bus. We did see some schools up here closed yesterday, so we'll know here hopefully within the next 45 minutes to an hour or so what Portland Public Schools will be doing. There's also some other issues Tony mentioned up here. We've heard of a couple of rollover accidents up here overnight as well, and I'm sliding here in the slush as I'm talking to you. So if you are driving in the West Hills, the tow truck drivers say you should still carry the chains, especially if you're just trying to get out of your driveway this morning. We are live in the West Hills. Now back to you guys.
Driveway may be the toughest part of the commute this morning. Nicole, thank you. The heavy snow that hit west side cities like Forest Grove, Banks, and Vernonia, well, they are starting to see some rain this morning, and we want to get right now live to KPTV's Marilyn Deutsch, who is in Banks. And Marilyn, you say it all started changing right about 4 o'clock this morning, right?
It did. As we drove out here, it was snow, and then about an hour ago, it became rain. By the way, I think we just heard that Banks schools are closed for the day. Also, Vernonia schools. I think Vernonia made that call last night. But let me give you an idea of just how fast things are changing. When we arrived here, this little potted plant was covered with white stuff. In fact, I didn't even know there was green under it at that point. But again, just in the last hour or so, the snow has turned to rain, and this transition started a lot earlier than what was predicted. We were talking about transitioning from snow to rain here about 7 or 8 this morning. It already happened about 4 a.m. Similar situation, by the way, in Vernonia. And I know at times like this in small towns, the market's the place to be because people are just stocking up on supplies.
People around here really pretty much know the drill. They come in and they pick up batteries and they pick up like camping fuel in case they're going to have to cook on camp stoves.
We have a generator if we need to if we're going to be down and stuff without any electricity. So we're kind of prepared.
All right, they are prepared. We do have reports of about 1,000 outages here in Washington County. I know as we headed west on 26 near Jackson School Road, we saw a transformer blow. I called PGE about it, and they said they actually didn't have a report, but I described what I saw, and they said, yeah, there's probably more outages than the 1,000 that they know about right now. So this is how the morning's going to go. But we're not going to see the snow-rain transition, constant back and forth that we saw yesterday. It's just going to be rain. Live in Banks, Marilyn Deutsch, Good Day, Oregon.
All right, Marilyn, thank you. It was a busy night for crews who worked to restore power to lots of folks across the metro area. This is video from southeast Portland near Knapp and 29th, where crews worked to take care of a down power line at about 2:30 this morning. And many people are still sitting in the dark now. More than 13,000 customers are without power in Clackamas County. The cause of most of the outages isn't known, but we do know that a few of them are caused by trees that are down or on power lines and heavy snow.
Yeah, that snow is so wet this morning that we could see more problems. Multnomah County also has more than 13,000 customers without power. About 1,800 in Clark County don't have power. More than 2,000 in Washington County. About 1,000 customers in Cowlitz County are in the dark, and about 1,900 in Hood River don't have any power. There are scattered outages in Yamhill, Marion, and Columbia counties. Power crews are working now to restore power to those areas that were hit. Travel through the Columbia River Gorge could be dangerous this morning. The Oregon Department of Transportation has issued an advisory for Interstate 84. KPTV's Ben Sanger is live from Hood River with the latest. And Ben, I would imagine it's beautiful there. Is that rain that we're seeing, or is that still snow?
Pete, this is actually snow, and what's interesting about this snow, it has been falling since last night. All of the snow that you see around me here in downtown Hood River, this is Oak Street in particular, is snow that fell overnight. We drove through this area before 9 o'clock last night, and it just looked like any other rainy day. And since then, it has turned to snow, and look at all the snow that guy had on the top of his car. So that's what the folks have been dealing with here. We heard Andy mention that they're expecting over a foot down here in Hood River, 2 feet in the higher elevations. We would estimate by what we've seen down here that there's definitely 4 or 5 inches here in the lower elevations here around Hood River. So the plows have been by. You may have been able to tell from looking at Oak Street, but if you look up the side streets here like 4th, you can tell that the plows have not been on the side roads quite yet. You just see a few tracks from the few cars that have been out at this early hour. So we do have some good news as far as Interstate 84 is concerned. As of yet, OSP feels like it is safe enough to keep that road open. And of course, the plows are out in force now that they have enough snow to actually plow. We heard you mention power outages a little bit earlier. So 1,900 customers in the Hood River area without power. The downtown area is obviously not affected by that, but just a few miles that way where we stayed the night was affected by that, a complete blackout in that particular neighborhood. We're also still waiting for the school district to make a decision about whether classes will open for the day, and I would like to get out of the way. But of course, when we hear word from them, we will bring that to you. Live in Hood River, Ben Singer, Good Day, Oregon.
But a different kind of storm is expected to hit off the coast today. Very powerful winds will hit the Oregon coast. KPTV's Joe Mathiathil joins us live from Lincoln City this morning, where he's been bearing the brunt of those gusts. Oh, Joe, look at that. Good morning.
And we got a big one right there, Kim. Thank you very much. Yes, we're back here live just outside the Chinook Winds Casino with an emphasis on the word winds because we have got a hurricane force wind warning for the waters of the Oregon coast just north of Florence. And then also here on land, a high wind warning. We're getting reports of gusts.
Yeah, so as you can see, that wind is so powerful, it's affecting our ability to connect with Joe, but we will be getting back to him. But you can see just how powerful that wind is.
Yeah, it seems like it's been picking up here in the last hour or so. That heavy snow that is hitting the northwest could affect your travel plans if you're headed to the airport.
Yeah, the airport is open, PDX, and while most flights are expected to go out as normal this morning, we do know that 15 flights are canceled.
Yeah, Alaska Airlines made an announcement that they would be canceling a number of flights starting at 6 o'clock this morning. Among them, Horizon Flight 2450 to Vancouver, British Columbia. Seattle, obviously a big factor.
Yes, they're seeing a lot of snow up there, and as you know, a lot of flights go through there from Portland. Alaska Airlines is allowing passengers planning to fly today to through Thursday to rebook their flights without change fees. So what you want to do is if you do have plans to head out, you want to check your flight first and go to the airport's website. And we have more information about all the canceled flights on our website, kptv.com.
Right now, let's get more information about our weather forecast. Andy, last couple of days we've been talking about this cold air and the warm air, and which one was going to be over the Portland area right now. It seems like it's the warm air.
Basically, it's come together just about like we anticipated. It came a little bit early, kind of like that relative that always gets there early. It came a little bit early, and so we are perhaps going to see a lot more schools be open because of that.
Speaking of relatives, is your mother in town? Because that's when we usually get a change in weather.
It happens on the 25th of this month. So
okay.
Mark your calendars, folks.
We're calling it Christmas in January when Mom comes out. Let's go right now to the radar picture.
5:25 is the time. Live look now. This is in the West Hills of Portland, and you can see quite a bit of rain coming down as we warm up, turning all that snow we received overnight into a big slushy mess. It's creating some issues on the road in the way of just big puddles and just sloppiness. Let's get to Tony Martinez now in the traffic center for the latest. Tony?
Yeah, Kim, things kind of splashing along here once you make it out to your favorite freeway or highway. They don't look bad. That's pretty much freeway speeds there along the Sunset Pass Murray. Getting there, that's going to be, again, the tough part. Quite a bit of slush out there this morning, and some of the upper elevations that can be quite slick. But again, once you make your way to the freeways, what the bigger hazard probably is some of that road spray kicking up, because as this snow begins to melt, it's creating a lot of water, standing water, on some of the freeways coming in. So keep all that in mind. Have a couple of closures also along Skyline, still shut down Cornell to Germantown Road, and Highway 43 closed from the Sellwood Bridge to Palatine Hill Road. In both of those areas, numerous trees have come down overnight, and while they're sorting all out, they put those closures in place. So keep that in mind as well. Also, farther north on I-5 heading up in towards the area of Vancouver, then farther towards Olympia and Seattle, conditions do get quite a bit worse. So keep that in mind for travels taking north of Oregon and into the state of Washington this morning. Kim, back to you.
Tony, thank you. We have live team coverage of this winter storm. Stay tuned to Fox 12. We'll have the latest information on the forecast and school delays coming up. You're watching Good Day. We'll be right back.